Hello, love to you and all your loved ones, and the experience of all that is. Okay, fear. Scary stuff. Oh, fear, fear, fear. Fear is the number one problem that I would say that humans have. You could also say anger, but anger is based on fear. It's also the biggest obstacle for spiritual development because it keeps you in your ego self, in the little me that's separate from the big me, the observer, or all that is. Okay, now we have the reptilian brain and the mammalian brain, which are fear-based. And since caveman days, there's just the fear of getting eaten by a saber-toothed tiger, and um, some storm might come and kill you and kill your crops, and then you're all gonna die, kind of thing. And then we have more recently we had Darwinism. That's really a very unfortunate turn of events for society, because then it just basically based all society on competition, survival of the fittest, kill or be killed. And then now you have business that's based on those principles. You obviously have war, which is literally kill or be killed. We have sports. We have trying to get ahead, even in any field. If you want to go to school, you have to be the number one student, or you have to be the best musician and outdo your competition and all of that. This is a huge problem for society, and it's all fear-based. Okay, it's like if you're like living on the side of a cliff, just looking off of the cliff. Of course, through gravity, you think you're just gonna fall and die, but you're holding on for dear life just so wind doesn't blow you off, and you're just scared and you're sitting there tense every moment. But we don't realize that if you just trust and jump off, you might fly. Things actually might be better. There's a 50-50 chance of things getting worse or better. But that's the thing with the fear of change and the ego that wants to keep that same thing going. Who cares if it doesn't want change? It just wants to stay to the same, keep on the same path, because that's what we know and that's what got us here. But then that means that you're never going to improve. Things will never get better as an individual and for society. So we have to trust, and we have to realize that things can get better, and for things to get better, you have to change. Okay, so that's huge. And the reason why this is really especially a big deal right now is because, like I said, I think 2017 is the year of change. Like there's people have said, which is cool, 2016 is a 9, which is the end of the cycle. 2017 is a 10, which then becomes 1 plus 0, which becomes a 1 at the beginning of the cycle. I've also heard that we're at the end of a 66-year economic cycle that ended in 2015. Then we have the whole thing about the cosmos, and we're getting a lot more life force that's creating a lot of change. And then Greg Braden talks about how there's also a conflict cycle that's going around, and he's saying all of these are converging and ending at the same time. I'll post a video that explains that. But So that is why I want us to confront our fears. Confront your fears as an individual. Also confront your fear of change. And ultimately also confront your fears of no money and being broke, abundance, and scarcity. So that's the thing. The fear of change and staying on that same path is a scarcity model where it's like holding on, and even though you're intense and in fear and every second living looking over your shoulder and not wanting to fall off the cliff, it's like you'll just keep do the minimum just to survive for that just one moment more, and then one moment more, and then one moment more, and it's like that is not a way to live. There's you can survive or you can thrive. You can fall or you can fly, right? So like I said, off the cliff, you jump off that cliff and trust, and that's the only chance you have for being liberated, and that's the only chance you have of flying and going up higher than where you are. um, so yeah, the fear of money is huge too. Like I say, be grounded, plant your feet, feel your core, the bottom of your core. um, connect with Mother Earth, connect with the spirits around you, connect with God, connect with deities, angels, the cosmos, your crown. And then, Mother Earth, you can put a cord to your root chakra. You can imagine the Muladhara chakra in the core, just to help you with survival fears and money. And then, like I always say, bring your consciousness into your solar plexus and breathe and be present. These are fundamentals that I always talk about, but it's very important, so I'm just going to pound it in your head. Because there's a new world coming, and we have this fear of what it's going to be like, and this fear of what's the transition going to be like, and that's just honest. Everyone talks about the ascension, but not about the transition. So, but the fact that you are expecting something good will help all of society to really um, manifest that. So let's try to be relaxed. Let's try to be grounded, be in our body, and expect good things. And no matter what happens, we have all agreed on it, and it's something that is going to ultimately be a good thing. Now, come on now, it's obvious. Just look at money and how it's been oppressing society since Babylonian times. They call it Babylonian money magic. It's actually a black magic. They've put that black magic in there so that it becomes addictive. And anyone knows, including you, spiritual person, that there's something definitely weird and addictive about money. Even for people that are spiritual, even for me, like there's those fears and there's those doubts you always have with money, and then also um, the greed when you get a lot of it. Um, Money drives people crazy. So a lot of people wouldn't believe this, but just look at how people act with money. Even quote unquote good spiritual people, spiritual teachers all the time are like abusing money. Religious people, spiritual leaders, come on, they abuse money all the time. Um, and then you have war, which people are going to war and dying all the time, and it's not even logical. We're killing each other just so that a leader can get rich off of it, and so that they can have their own agenda. And I won't even get into other reasons why there's war, that it's just putting bad energy into our minds. But just and then you have poverty. There's so much food scarcity. There's only scarcity in our minds. There's actually lots of food. They say 50 years, at least 50 years of food to feed everyone. But then again, but meanwhile, everyone's starving in a lot of third world countries. So these are just lies. Um, and so these things alone, money, war, and poverty, these are things that are huge problems in society. And don't we want to change these things? So we got to change ourselves so that society can change. And maybe we're going to have a little bit of a rough patch, you know, in this transition period. But the more we just put good energy out there and just relax emotionally, then this transition will be smooth. And it's all about being prepared, not scared, okay? This is a good thing. This is what we have to really, really hinge on, you know? This is a good thing. Change is a good. Society needs change, okay? And if you really want to be careful, you can just buy, you know, some water, extra water, buy some extra canned foods or whatever. But, because like I said, even if something happens that isn't really a problem, if people perceive it as a problem, they'll go out and buy everything up. And you won't have your water for a few weeks or a month or whatever. So, you know, that's something safe to do. But other than that, I mean, just expect good things, you know. Like I've said before, you can buy silver and gold coins, bullion coins too, just as a security. But don't do these things out of fear. Do these things out of just being smart, you know? All right. I give you the experience of all that is in your brain synapses and your DNA.